Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 12th episode of this podcast, Bias Football Takes. It's crazy that we've done 12 episodes, Obina.
No, I mean, when we started, we just wanted to have fun, honestly. But now we're, I guess, dedicated, and we seem to have a good following.
Yeah,
So
we
I,
do.
on that, at this note, beyond that point, I'd like to thank people who have been consistently listening. Thank you very much for supporting us and for listening. It means a lot. Justin. So let me share this. I have a friend of mine at work, Justin. He has been listening to every episode, and in fact, so he's a staunch Barcelona fan.
Oh, yeah.
And so the episode where we were praising Madrid, he and I had a serious debate in the office to the point that we even had to employ Chat GPT
Wow.
to we asked ChatGPT to to list the top three, the best midfielders of all time, because he was not offended or upset, but he was making the point which I agreed with, that the trio of Modric, Casemiro, and Cruz is not as good as Iniesta, Xavi, and Busquets. And so we asked ChatGPT, and and in all honesty, ChatGPT actually didn't put any of the Madrid three. So Cruz, Modric, and Casemiro didn't appear in, I think, in his search and in my search. I think Cruz appeared in one person. Sorry, Modric appeared in one person's search, but Xavi and Iniesta were steadily there. So, shout out
I
to
mean, I mean that's individually. We're talking about collective. Anyways, so there's this thing I always say that my two fans, thanks for listening to
no. I
us.
think we have a sizable double digit
Yeah,
count.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I posted something about my other podcast that, oh, my two fans, thank you for listening. And people were like, eh? Two fans? What do you mean by two fans? It's just a joke. I was just like saying two fans.
Yeah.
Anyways, for the regular listeners, really appreciate you listening to us. Even though Obina is a pain in my ass, but I'm managing it. And new listeners, thank you for tuning in. We just banter on this podcast. What we say is not that serious. I just,
We're just having
playing
a good
around.
time,
We're just having a
honestly.
good time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we intend to bring in more guests as more episodes go by. We just want to like be able to touch different aspects of the sport, and we hope that you guys just stick with us. And thank you for the feedback, because I had a lot of feedback the past week and during the break when Obina decided to go on his love hiatus.
Oh my God. Family matters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
family
rising.
matters.
So
Anyways, this episode would have very brief review of the weekend, which I really enjoyed. In a way, halfway. I enjoyed halfway. It could have been better, but I'll manage that. Then we have a guest on today's episode. Is a I would say it's one of those people that I know two people that are addicted to football. Is one of them. He he I would say he made me know Bundesliga very well because he keeps ranting about certain players. And unfortunately for him, those players end up at United. He used to rant about Mkhitaryan. He used to rant about Shinji Kagawa. He used to talk about Sancho. Now Jude Bellingham is going to come to United. So this man is addicted to football. And it's one of those people that introduced me to a few things here and there. He introduced me to I think the football group, Manchester Football Group. Introduced me to someone who was running football website, and I started writing for him for a while. I think 2013, 14. So yeah, we go really, really way back. And funny enough, I never met this guy before, but we have communications on Twitter. And I used to banter him about one thing. And I'm going to say that at the end of this show. Then we'll talk about Nagelsmann. And there's this topic that I just want us to just touch on. It's about attacks, how to manage attacks, stream of attacks at Anfield, which certain people witnessed. This witnessed the first time. So yeah, then we'll have the weekend preview. So Obina, how you feeling now?
I mean, I mean, no condition is permanent.
Oh,
I feel. I mean, see, they say in life you have to focus on what's important. I'm alive. I'm healthy. My family members are healthy. That's what matters to me right now. I'm not.
wow.
I'm not. I'm not. The football is not that important at the end of the day. you,
Wow.
you have to.
Wow.
You have to focus on what's important. People you love. People that love you. That's all.
Why are you sounding humble now?
No,
It's just
no.
a
I mean,
game. It's just
at
a
the end of the
game.
day, like that's what matters. Who cares about? I mean, if Man City win the league, and so what?
Wow. Wait. So are you saying Arsenal is not going to win the league?
No, that's not what I said. I said if City wins the league, like if for some odd reason they do, like I mean, eh, things happen in life. Things
Okay.
happen in life.
Okay. So you remember when you read out the number of points
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal,
Mm-hmm.
no, number of points City had at this point in time in the past seasons, you were like, oh, Arsenal is doing way better. So is Arsenal going to win the league with respect to that, or what's up?
No, they can, they can. Also, we can.
Oh
Arsenal
wait,
can.
wait. You remember in the last episode you're like, write it down. Arsenal is winning the league. So it has from Arsenal is winning the league. It has turned to Arsenal can win the league.
No, I mean, even at that point, it was still a question. It was
And
still
no,
a.
you
It
were
was
you were
still.
confident. You were confident. Okay, my
My
other question
life.
is another question
Uh-huh.
is Arsenal City good?
What do you mean? Arsenal is right as it stands. Arsenal is 6 points ahead of City. So yes, I mean,
So Arsenal
mm,
and City good, right?
Arsenal is yeah.
Okay, so if Arsenal and City good, then why are you
Mm.
scared of?
I'm not scared. No. I just
Why are
said
you
that
why are
they
you not
can.
confident of you winning the league? Because
No,
if
no,
City is good, they are sure of winning the league, even when they are City good. They're not scared.
no,
So
no. They were City. City was City good, and Liverpool beat them to the league. So it can these things can happen, right?
okay.
Like you can be having an amazing season, but somebody else can just peep you to the league. United, the season City won the league for the very first time, right? United was. I mean, it went literally down to the last kick of the season. So
Mm.
it can happen that, yeah. So, I mean, look, there's a scenario in which Arsenal and City will go into the last game of the
Last day.
season
Mm-hmm.
exactly with same number of points, and it'll boil down to goal difference again. You
Okay.
on that note, you can't say that one team is better than the other,
Okay.
right? So, but as far as I'm concerned, I still feel that the boys can do it. However, if I'm going to be 100% honest, it has become a little bit more complex. You get
Wow. You're scared.
no scared. No. Fear is
Pep
not
is
something.
behind you with his robots. As someone said.
They are chasing though. They are chasing. But
Mm. Don't be
now,
scared.
a
Don't be
friend of mine
scared.
said something that it is ridiculous, quite ridiculous, how Arsenal has won the last 7 games and drawn one in the critical end of the season, and they are still not pulling away from the rest of the league. Like
Yes.
it's ridiculous.
Yep. It
It's
is.
ridiculous. But
It
that's
shows it says one thing that City are, I would say, miles ahead of everyone in terms of how their structure is, how their quality is, how the coaching is. Because with their standards not being as it was in the
you
past.
can't say no again, Seun. You can't say that their standards are not up to where they've been for the past few. Like, if again we looked at the numbers, right? They are performing on par with where they've been over the past 10 years. So it's not like all of a sudden, like, every like it's like the Leicester season where everybody's like, the team that wins the league will win it with Leicester with about 80. I think 81 points is what Leicester finished with that season, if I remember correctly. So obviously, both teams are going to exceed 81 points. Arsenal is on course to finish with, I believe, 92 or 93 at this rate, 93 points. Same with City. So, I mean, these are points that this is what would have won you league in past seasons anyway, right? So you can't say that they are doing worse than they have. Anyway, let's move on to review. Please, let's focus on we have a show to address here.
Anyways,
So
wait, Chichi, before you move on. Liverpool fans, not that they attacked me, but they were like, when they beat United, I did not really praise them well. So this weekend they did, because I thought they were going to lose, so they drew and they could have won that game. So Liverpool, nice one. And I think they decided to beat United because I've been insulting them so well that they
Wait,
decided to
hold
beat
on.
us well.
That
So
game. So I mean, I guess we'll touch on it because that's the last match. That was the last match of the weekend. But
yes.
that Arsenal Liverpool game. Anyway, so let's quickly go over the results. So and our predictions.
Okay.
United Everton. We were both wrong. You had said a draw. I had said a win for Everton. United won. Villa Forest 2-0. We were both right. We said Villa would win. Brentford Newcastle. We were both right. We said Newcastle would win, and they did. Fulham West Ham. We were both wrong,
Wrong.
actually.
Yeah, wrong.
Yeah,
I said
yeah.
West Ham win.
You said a draw.
Oh, yeah.
I said a Fulham win, and then West Ham won 1-0. So we were both wrong. Leicester Bournemouth, you were wrong. Typical. And I was right. I said Bournemouth would beat Leicester, and they did. You said a draw. Brighton, Tottenham Brighton, we were both wrong, even though Brighton was robbed. But the score is the score. So Tottenham beat Brighton 2-1. I think we should touch on that game afterwards, but
Yeah.
so it was a win for Tottenham. We were both wrong. Wolves Chelsea, another one where we were wrong. We had both said Chelsea would win. Wolves won with a fantastic goal. Southampton City, that was a no-brainer. City won. Both of us predicted that. Leeds Palace, we were both wrong. That was a surprising game.
Yeah.
Because Palace just they destroyed Leeds, especially in the second half. 5-1. You said a win for Leeds. I said a draw. Well, we know Palace won. And then Arsenal, Liverpool, Arsenal. It was a draw. We were both wrong. We had both said Arsenal would win. All right, so the floor is yours. Which game would you want to highlight or discuss further? I guess we said Spurs Brighton first.
Yeah. Spurs
All right.
Brighton. So quickly, just very briefly on that one.
Yeah,
I don't understand what's going on in EPL
that's true.
and PGM, OL, and FA. Those guys, they said they've apologized to Brighton 3 times.
3 times. Yeah, they've
Do you
cost them 9 points essentially.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
And those guys, if you add that 9 points, they'll be closer to the top 4.
They'll be fighting for top 4. Yeah.
And it's not as if those guys are not playing good football. They are playing amazing football. Unfortunately for them, they just have so many ups.
So there are 3 teams now that I'm concerned about, right? Obviously City, then Newcastle, then Brighton. And I say those 3 teams because of the way they are playing, because of the kind of football they're playing. So Brighton, it was clear that this Deserbi guy, like the guy was, he low-key had top 4 aspirations, or I'm not say top 4, but European aspirations.
Yeah.
European aspirations. And it's clear that like the guy means business. I mean, they play exciting football, they move the ball well, and it's simple to watch. Oh, it's beautiful to watch, and it's simple for the players because just pass and move, and then they shoot from outside the box, but then they can move the ball into the box. So they have different ways they can cross. They have different ways of taking teams apart. So Tottenham really got lucky this weekend. But again, I guess I'm fine with that as long as it means that Tottenham will beat United to 4th place, which, as I've predicted, is what will happen.
Wait, so you prefer Tottenham being top 4 over United?
Yeah, easy. Standard, yeah.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's the same way you prefer City winning the league to Arsenal winning the league.
It's different because you guys, your hatred towards Tottenham is more than your hatred towards United. So I don't know.
So no. If you remember our very first episode, I said that yes, I understand that Arsenal and Tottenham, but the team that Mio Obina Oluchukwu Gochukwu Yana has, and I gave my full government name, has beef with. As I hate this with my oh my god, it's United.
Oh,
exactly.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Anyways, I beg. See, Newcastle. I've always said that Newcastle is going to be a problem for United this season. and they are staying true to that fact. It's crazy. Newcastle,
that third place is theirs because they are scoring goals. They are not conceding a lot, and I think they are running. It looks
it looks good.
better.
Oh, wait, you guys have not played them though.
Yeah, no, we play them at St. James Park, but like they don't have as tough, like the games are not as tough as United or so.
But yeah, so you guys are going to beat Newcastle, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, good. Yeah, let's move on.
And then Arsenal, Liverpool. So, I guess you can start off. What do you think of the game?
See, there's nothing to talk about in that game. You guys are very lucky that
oh my God,
that Liverpool could not just finish their chances. And you see that there was one counter that what's his name? Martinelli was supposed
at the very end. Yeah,
decision making. That is what separates a superstar from a star and regular average player.
So it's decision making, but it's also fatigue, right? No, because it was he had been running like back and forth, and I mean he's still a young boy, so like I agree that his decision making at times can be very poor. Because my first issue with him is that he runs with his face to the ground, right? Like
it's the only one I see. Yeah, he does that.
And then he also takes one too many touches, right? So he has the ball, he tries to do an extra touch before he lays it off. He tries to do an extra touch before he crosses. Like, Gabriel, just release the ball, please. Mm-hmm. So, and then for me, I don't know why Arteta took off Jesus. I feel like he was really into that game and he was ready to play. The person, and I know some people might disagree with me, the person that I would have taken off for Trossard was Saka, because Saka wasn't in that match.
Yeah, he wasn't. He didn't play anything in that match.
So he should have taken off Saka, brought on Trossard, taken off Zinchenko earlier, put it in Tierney when we were still 2-1 up, because you want to lock up shop, right?
I mean, he's a progressive manager now. He doesn't. Why would he want to lock up shop?
And you know, I don't know if it's you who I told this, but I've always questioned Arteta's in-game management. Like,
we don't start. We've started. We don't start. Okay, continue, please.
No.
Enjoy your rant. Enjoy. I'm enjoying this.
No, I'm being for real though. All I'm saying is like I sometimes I question his in-game management, because like there was no reason why he left. He waited that long to bring on Tierney, and then he first brought in that Kiwior guy. Like, of all places to play your first Premier League game is at Anfield, where so there were many things wrong with that game for me. The first though was that once Xhaka fouled Trent or got Trent, tried to route Trent up, and then the crowd got in. For me, that's where we just lost our concentration, because up until that point, like, it was a very easy game. We could have gone like 3-4-0 up. You get that? That's how good we were playing, and then once that happened, it just changed games. So I mean, from that point on, we could have lost the game. So I'm in that sense, I'm happy we got the 1 point. But man, it's a tale of what could have been, because we had no business giving up 2 goals from the position we were early on in the game. I rest my case.
No problem. Anyways, I've been seeing a lot of articles and a lot of punditry about how the Xhaka incident changed the posture of the game. I agree, but I don't want to talk too much about that. I just believe that you guys got to 1 point. You did not lose 2 points, because you guys should have lost that game. And you guys have...
But then again...
Sorry, wait. You guys have Salah to thank for. You guys have that black boy that's supposed to be in Crystal Palace. What's his name again?
Konate,
who had an immense game.
That
Konate boy had, and it was the defender, it was the midfielder, it was the attacker. That guy should have... It was only goalkeeper that was winning for him. He had an immense game. The goal that Jesus scored was because he was trying to help out Trent,
yeah.
And this man, I don't understand what that man is going through in his life. Maybe he's depressed, or I'm sorry.
Trent?
I'm sorry. I take I take not Trent, Virgil van Dijk.
Van Dijk.
I take mental health seriously. I'm not trying to be, but there's something wrong with that man. Absolutely something. There's something wrong because
maybe he's not as good as you know. I think it was that. I think was it Ferdinand that called him a Rolls Royce.
yeah, it wasn't Ferdinand. But it was it Ferdinand? Anyways, so the thing is, there are some mistakes that he's making that a normal defender shouldn't make. Like, why are you so unaware? Why are you so unaware of your surrounding? Like, there's no way Jesus should have that much space.
So no,
Jesus
no.
headed the ball.
So while I agree with that, I also think that it comes primarily from the fact that the defense is having to shift to the right to cover for Trent.
Yes, I agree. But you cannot tell me that because that happened, you should not be aware of your surrounding.
It wasn't always like that, and that's because their midfield structure has changed a bit. So Trent now has to push inwards and forward, and so then there's that gap on that side there. I mean, he's also not very good defensively. So, but to the last point I was going to make was, so yes, Liverpool should have won the game, but football, as you've seen, is all about moments, and Arsenal could have stolen that game right at the very end, and that's what was very painful for me because
as you guys stole the moment against United. Go ahead.
It's not United I was going to talk about. It's Bournemouth. It's Aston Villa, right?
Yes.
Right. So there are games where we've not been exceptional, but the players have been clinical at the moments that have mattered. But I guess it wasn't supposed to be that day, so it's okay. I still feel like the boys can do it.
Okay.
All right. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Okay, so now it's Chike time. So Chike, how you doing? How do you feel about your club being United's feeder club?
Wait, before we get there, let the audience get to know who Chike is.
Wait. Let him just say something first. Let him vent before he introduces himself.
No, I don't need to vent. You know, when you were talking about me at the beginning, I was thinking about clipping that part and using it for my LinkedIn profile because I think that's how the LinkedIn guys do. You know, just make it seem like this guy is a lot better than who he is. With all the washing and all that.
It's not worse.
All the washing and all that.
You know, I'm saying the truth now.
But thanks, man. Thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure, man. Nice to be with you guys.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the show. We're really excited to have you, and we like to get to know our guests first. So, in typical BFT fashion, so tell us, Chike, where your love for football started, how it started, and then how you came to support your team, Borussia Dortmund.
I'm actually more of a Man United fan than the rest of the. But but Seun knows that. Not Seun knows that. But
this show give me fake news, though. Can you imagine?
The funny thing is, I always tell people that I probably would, in an alternative universe, right? I probably would have been an Arsenal fan, which is disgusting to hear, but it's the fact. So I grew up with. You remember that Arsenal, the famous Arsenal game where they had to win by 2-0 at Anfield, and they did on the final day of the season. Yeah. So growing up, I had that tape in the house because one of my uncles was an Arsenal fan. And he was in, I think, university back then.
Real quick, is that your favorite uncle, and is that your coolest uncle?
Worst uncle ever. Nearly ruined my life. Bad decision, poor decision making by that guy. But yeah, I had that tape growing up, and I nearly became an Arsenal fan. But thankfully, because of Solskjaer. Solskjaer is actually my favorite player.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he actually is. I'm candid enough to say that he wasn't good enough to manage Man United, not coach. I think he was probably good enough to coach United for that period, but not manage. I don't think he was big enough to manage Man United. But as a player, he was one of my favorite players growing up. Growing up, it was actually Daniel Omokachi that made me fall in love with football and sports in general. Just remembering his goal against Greece I'm not that old, but remembering his goal against Greece at the World Cup, the '94 World Cup, and that dance, and then of course remember his winning goal against the winning goal against Argentina at the Olympics. That whole. I mean, I just love the whole his style of play. He had body and everything, and I felt like I always wanted to be like him. Not necessarily the goal getter, but just that guy that was very good at link up play. So growing up, he was the first person that's made me fall in love with football before Solskjaer and then Eric Cantona. I mean, Eric Cantona was just on another level entirely. And I became a United fan in '96, the same year, I believe. I think that was the year before Arsene Wenger came. He came in '96, 7. Oh, 96. Okay, yeah. So just the year before he came. But I became a United fan in '96. And then, of course, because I watched different leagues, different sports actually. So I watch basketball, follow the NFL and all that. But Seun is right. I followed Borussia Dortmund. I like them, especially back in the early to mid 2000s, 2010s. I followed them a lot, and I mean, obviously till now. But back then, my love for them was at the very top. But yeah, United fan. But I think my most the proudest title I have is that I am the vice president of the Faithful Black Men Association, Lagos branch. So that is what I am most proud, and that's how I like you view me.
The Faithful Black Man.
There's a reason why you're saying that. There's a reason why I'm saying that. There's a reason because I'm always talking about something. There's a reason why you're saying that. So you have to put that caveat out early before I start. Anyways, so you didn't answer my question. I have to start. How do you feel about Dortmund being United's feeder team? Because we had Mkhitaryan, we had Shinji, we had Sancho, and about to have Jude Bellingham. And those three players that I mentioned, the first three players I mentioned, I knew them from you. So just to give you a precursor, I knew about Mkhitaryan from you because you always complain about him that this guy is always playing a certain way. So when he came to United and Mourinho didn't start him, I always tell my friends that there's a reason why Mourinho is not starting this guy. This guy is problematic. Like, this guy has issues. It was because of you. And eventually, he started playing him, and the issues came to fall. So how do you feel?
So from a Dortmund's point of view, because I won't answer this from my United point of view, from a Dortmund point of view, I think having players go to United is actually a good thing because it works within the model. When you look at Dortmund, their model now, I think they've accepted over the past, say, 10 years or so, they've accepted that, financially, we're not going to be able to compete with Bayern Munich because those guys are on another level entirely. So what we are going to do, what our identity is that we are going to be that club that I'll say provides stepping stones to say youngsters, wonder kids and everything. So we can not just provide them game time, but game time at the highest level. So because Dortmund is always in the Champions League, they can afford to say, "Oh, Jude Bellingham can come to our club. You're going to get game time, and not just game time in the league or in the Pokal, DFB Pokal, but in the Champions League." The same thing with Haaland and those guys. They don't mind going there, playing 2 to 3 years, some 4 years. Rubbing shoulders with the guys in the world and developing at a faster rate because you look at someone like Bellingham, even Haaland, Sancho, all these guys, Makoko, all these guys wouldn't get as much playing time. Okay, maybe Haaland is an exception, but the other guys wouldn't get as much playing time if they were in clubs like, let's say, or Real Madrid or Manchester United or Manchester City, clubs like that. So, Dortmund, they've said, you know what, we can't compete with these guys, the Bayerns of this world. What we are going to do, this is our own model. We are going to stick to it. So I think when clubs like United come and pay, 80 something and something for Sancho, I mean, it's tough to see those wonderful players leave. But because it suits the model, it's a win-win for both the player, both the club, and I don't know if I'll say it's a win for Manchester United because so far they've not reaped that reward for the amount of money they've invested in the Kagawas, the Mkhitaryan, and all those guys. But for Dortmund and for the player who have seen their career take a slightly faster route than if they had gone to the other clubs I had mentioned. I think everything is in line with the model, so it works well for Dortmund. And like I said, it's hard to see them leave, but it's all within the model. All you have to just do is, I always tell people, football is first and foremost a business. I know we watch it for the glory and everything. We want to be happy, we want all the trophies and all those things, but if you can look at football as first and foremost being a business, then you'll be at peace with a lot of nonsense that goes on in football. So I think, like I said, the business part of seeing those players leave, more will leave. Bellingham is going to leave. Haaland left. More players will leave Dortmund. More players will come because they've seen that, oh, these guys can help accelerate our career. So they're going to come. They're going to leave, and it's all in line with the model. So I'm fine with that.
No, you're absolutely right. I agree. Like, a lot of people have criticized the Bundesliga for being essentially Bayern's. They're just waiting for Bayern to get coronated each season, and then everyone else just
Mm-hmm.
plays along. Because
Mm-hmm.
I saw a stat as I was preparing for the show that of the last 59 seasons, Bayern has won 31, and and from like 2011 to 2012,
Yeah.
they've won it, through since then. I mean, that was the last time Dortmund was able to win it.
Yeah.
So
Back to back. Yeah.
it's practically Bayern's trophy. So speaking of football being a business, what is your take on, and and how while we watch it for the glory and bragging rights of our teams, for these players and for the owners of the clubs, it's a business.
Mm.
Considering that you're a United fan, you've suffered for quite some time now. I had to do that. What is your thoughts on the state of the club? Both with the recruitment and the potential change in ownership. That's the discussion for change in ownership that's going on right now. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, I can't wait to see the Glazers leave. I think they've been very, very poor owners. They've taken money out of the club. They've not put money into the club. They've taken money out of the club. It's a long explanation, but they've just pretty much drained the club. And I feel like United should be, even with how poorly they've mismanaged the club. I think that just a little bit of competence from their own end would have United on a much better um, place, as a team.
Mm.
Um, the structure of the club is beginning to look more modernized right now. So I feel like with the change in ownership, personally, I want to see the Qatari owners come in. I'm not one of all those moral judges, so I wouldn't mind those guys to come in and spend some money on us. Is that
Sean, you ask about human rights now.
we've we've tried hard enough. We deserve to be spoiled, please. So I wouldn't mind those guys coming in, and if there are people that frown on that, I would totally understand their own point of view. But personally, I can't wait for the Blazers to leave. Um, I think we are starting to see a semblance of structure at the club right now, and with just a little bit of competence in the ownership department, I feel like United can go back to the glory days when Fergie used to win trophies and trophies every year. So we are not so far away from that right now. But there with Ten Hag, I think things have changed. With Edward was stepping down, things have also changed, and I think we're beginning to look a little bit more like a modern club.
No, that's good. Yeah, no, I again, like I will say this: when I saw that you guys were getting, or when I saw that Ten Hag was available, and because Arsenal were looking at him at the time as well, and I felt that if he went to United, I was upset when it was announced that he was going to go to United because given what I had seen of his team, his Ajax team, and yeah, I knew that it would be a matter of time before you guys would start getting trophies again. So shout out to you for doing that, I guess. Um, we talked about the Bundesliga and how big Bayern's influence is, and essentially how it's. What do you think needs to change or how can the league change to make it more competitive? I know obviously it's a question of changing the structure, but what specifically can the league do to, because I mean it feels like first of all, every good player, their aim is to essentially end up at Bayern Munich. Every good player in the league is to end up at Bayern Munich, except for some very rare players like Marco Reus, Haaland, Mesut Ozil at the time, at some point. So what can the league do to take away that dominance from Bayern and become more competitive?
I think it's simple. Having the rest of the clubs be more competitive in the transfer markets would be the major step, and the main way they can do that is to have huge TV deals, which the Premier League has. I know other leagues have complained, they're jealous of how the Premier League is right now. I know the president of La Liga, I've forgotten
La
his name.
Liga.
Yeah. He's always talking about
They can't compete.
yeah, they can't compete. I think out of the first 12 teams, highest spenders in the window, I think only two are non-English. You see teams like Nottingham Forest being able to compete with an AC Milan, which sounds absurd, but that's the reality of things. So it just is like I said, it's a business, and it's all about having those other teams being able to compete in the transfer market, and that's the only way that they can compete with Bayern. And a lot of people just think, oh, the Premier League, they had this kind of this huge money fall on their lap, but it's not. The Premier League worked for the money. When they rebranded in the early '90s, all the money they've been putting in, all the fees, even the fantasy league that people, because the fantasy league is another way where people pay attention to the league, because ordinarily you wouldn't let's say care about a Bournemouth, but if you have a billion on your team, you will want to follow Bournemouth to see
how it's doing.
Yeah, so little things like that are how the league grows. You get, and I don't think the German league has put in that much effort. So it's not just sitting down and saying, "Oh, complain about Bayern and how much did if the other teams can be able to compete in the market as well as as well as Bayern are, I think that's a way that they can level up. And TV deals, sponsorship deals. It sounds so easy, but there's a lot of work, probably decades of work, and they'll be able to get to this stage.
So I have a question. Speaking of Bayern, why do you think why do you think they sacked Nagelsmann? Because I heard somewhere that I don't know if this is banter or whatever. I heard that he was seen coming into the training area on skates or roller skates or something like that, or skateboard. And
He's a young guy now.
and Leverkusen was like, not in this place. We don't do that here. We don't do that here.
No, I think the Nagelsmann, I don't know what to call it. The whole sacking, the whole issue. I think if you're trying to make sense of it, you're going to run mad, because it just doesn't make sense. And this is something that we've seen with Bayern over the years. This isn't the first time they'll make a move like this. Remember back in, I think, 2007, after Felix Magath won the league and cup double for them, they sacked him the following season. And Magath actually went to Wolfsburg to help them win the league in 2009. So this is this is a team that has done things like this in the past.
Sorry to cut you in.
Okay, go ahead.
They did the same thing, to hire Pep as well. The coach, I can't remember his name.
Ikes.
Yeah.
Heinkes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He had just done the treble.
Yeah.
And then, go on.
I think for Heinkes, I think his own might be a little bit different, because he was like, flirting with retirement and everything. Because I think after that season he retired, and to be fair, I think he had retired as well in around 2009 when he was caretaker manager of Bayern as well, because that was after he won the Champions League with Madrid, and he came there, was caretaker, he retired, he came back, so that's someone who...
No, but for me, the reason why I brought that up is the abrupt nature, exactly, the abrupt nature of how it just came out of nowhere, and go on, you're right.
Yeah, so like I was saying, these are managers that have won things, and it feels like once there's a little bit of problem, they get rid of the manager. But I feel like in the case of Nagelsmann, I think he just fell out. He lost the dressing room, especially the key players. I wouldn't say he lost the dressing room as a whole, but I think he lost a few key players. And of course, the form right after the World Cup was a big source of concern for the board. I think one of the main reasons, the main concrete reasons that they gave was that they weren't happy with the development of some of the youngsters. I think Gravenberch, Matthias Tell, and Stanisic, especially Gravenberch, they have spent a lot of money on him, and that felt a bit unfair because they play a two-man base in that midfield, and it's Joshua Kimmich and Goretzka. So I don't see how Gravenberch was going to fit into that. These are two players that were at the top of their game. So it felt it was a bit hard to see how Gravenberch will fit into that. Matthias Tell is, I believe, 17, and he has played about 18 games this season. I mean, mainly as a sub, but as a 17-year-old, I don't think that's much of a worry. But I think that was one of the reasons they gave, that they weren't happy with the youngsters' development. And I know, like I said, they weren't happy with their form right after the World Cup. They had played 13 games, won 8, lost 2, drew 3. So they dropped 13 points in total. And they had been leapfrogged by Dortmund, and that was when they pulled the trigger. So I think that was like one of the major reasons they gave. But the last one, which I believe, the story that I believe is true, was that he fell out with Manuel Neuer. I think that was the beginning of the end for him. I remember back in January, there was the sacking of the goalkeeping coach, Tony.
Yes. Yeah.
T.O.W.N. He had been there for 11 years at Bayern. He was credited with making Neuer a world-class player, not just a world-class player, like an all-time great. If you talk about people like Lev Yashin and Gigi Buffon and all like the all-time greats, you're going to talk about Neuer as well. I mean,
definitely.
In an alternative universe where there's no Messi and Ronaldo, that guy would have won the Ballon d'Or. That's how good he was. So he was sacking Tony Topalovic was a huge blow for the relationship between him and Neuer. Remember, he was also Neuer's best man at the wedding. So this wasn't just a coach.
Wow.
This was a big friend, like his best friend. You get, so they had grown so much together over the years, and to see him go I think that really hurt their relationship between him and Neuer. And what he was accused of, that's Tony Topalovic, what he was accused of was leaking staff chats to players. And I think I can see that, because if you're that close to Neuer, probably you tell them, hey, this is what I saw in the chats. The other stuff, let's say the physio is saying this about you guys, this one is saying this about you guys, and it's spreads around. And to be fair to Nagelsmann, I wouldn't like something like that going on in the dressing room. Maybe there was another way to handle it, but that was like the main problem. Sacking that guy was like the beginning of the end for him at Bayern. It's like going to Chelsea and back in the days, going to Chelsea and falling out with John Terry or falling out with Frank Lampard. You're going to get sacked.
You're done for. Or Hazard at a point.
Yeah, you get Andre Villas-Boas. He found that out the hard way. You get so you fall out with those guys, you lose your job. So I think that was like the beginning of the end for him. Once he lost, and then of course that there was the issue with Sadio Mane. So I think after the PSG game, the second leg after they won, Mane was really upset that he played only 8 minutes in that second leg, and he confronted Nagelsmann in front of the entire that's in front of the players, and told him, "Yeah, I should be playing. I should be playing more than
Mountain.
more than 8 minutes. I've done everything. I've rehabbed well. I'm fit now. I should be playing." He shouted at Nagelsmann. You get, and the players were waiting to see a stronger reaction from Nagelsmann, because this is a player shouting on you, demanding to start. And what did Nagelsmann do? The very next game, I believe, was against Augsburg. It was a 5-3 win. He started Mane. And the players didn't take that well. You remember how Eric Ten Hag handled the Ronaldo situation when Ronaldo left? He banned him and did all this once. He made it known that
He was in
he's
charge.
the one in charge. And of course, Erik ten Hag rides his bike around Manchester, and no one says anything about him riding his bike. That's why I didn't buy that whole about Nagelsmann coming in skateboard. If you are in charge of the league, if you have those guys' respect, no one is going to care if you come in with skateboards or whatever. You get.
As long as you get your job
Yeah,
done. Correct.
exactly. So I think that was just the problem. He lost some key players in the dressing room, and they just felt, well, the form, we are dropping points in the league. Dortmund had gone ahead of us.
No, this is quite interesting what you bring up about Mane, because it would then seem that Mane, I mean, is a problematic player, no? And I mean, Liverpool would then be justified to let him go. I guess it's the long and short of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So to add to that, there was like
I did not know that.
I saw a particular news clip about him punching
Leroy Sané. Yeah, I saw that actually. Yeah.
So it happened yesterday.
It's
crazy.
With regards to that, I don't know if I'll label Mane that. I think he's had a very, very tough 3 months period. He had worked to help Senegal get back to the World Cup. I mean, the World Cup, the World Cup is not like the Champions League where you fail this year, next year you try again, or the Premier League where you fail this year, you try again. It comes around just once every 4 years. So to spend 4 years trying to get your team to the World Cup, you do that, you beat your fellow teammates, Mo Salah at the time, you beat him, you get to the World Cup, and you get injured right before the World Cup. I think that took like a mental toll.
Emotional toll, yeah.
Yeah, mentally, emotionally, I think he was drained. He felt frustrated. That's why I'm just trying to empathize with him. It's out of character, because we know Mane as this very nice person, like it's almost like Kaka or Kante, all those very nice people.
Man, sometimes I don't buy that. I don't buy that nice guy BS. You won't know why.
Do you buy sarcasm? Do you buy sarcasm?
Bukayo Saka, of course I buy it. The person I don't buy.
Imagine. Can you imagine?
The person I don't buy his own is Son. I think Son is a very wicked guy. No, because let me tell you why. I think Son is a very wicked guy. But he gets away with a lot of things because people are like, oh, he's a nice guy. There was a tackle that the guy did on Andre Gomez that broke his leg. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It happens now. That happens.
No. That was premeditated.
Are you kidding me?
I can't tell you that. That's my bias.
Just relax.
That's my bias for the day.
Just relax. So you believe Saka is a nice guy, but you don't believe other person.
You're
a joker. Is Messi a nice guy?
Very nice guy.
You're very silly. There's something wrong with you.
Anyway, Chike, it was really nice having you on the show here.
Sorry, Obina. Did the goalkeeper coach come back? Because I heard it. Neuer tweeted that, because I'm not around, that's why you sacked my guy. Is the guy back?
No, he's not back yet. I think
so he's gone.
He's gone. I think when you make a decision like that, it's very hard to reverse it. Yeah, I think it just sticks. And I don't even know I don't know how Neuer's future is going to look at Bayern, because you have Sommer, who's a very competent number one. Obviously not as good as Neuer, but very, very competent. Sommer should be a number one choice goalkeeper. So I don't know how the future for Bayern's goalkeeping department looks like when Neuer is back next season. I think Neuer should be like 36, 37, thereabouts. So they obviously should be looking at a long-term replacement, because Sommer too is in his mid-30s, probably 34 or thereabouts. So
you should go to Wrexham. You're looking for keeper.
Oh, awesome. Well, yeah, thank you so much once again, Chike, for taking the time to talk to us. I know you're in Nigeria, correct?
Yeah, I mean, Lagos just heading the Faithful Black Men chapter here in Lagos. My full-time job.
So no, we appreciate you taking the time, giving the the time difference. We appreciate it.
It's all good, man. Seun is my guy, so anytime he calls in, I'm always loyal to.
You're always down.
I'm always loyal.
Nice.
But it's nice meeting you, man. Nice one.
Yeah, same here. And then so I guess as always, we will then go on to predict the scores for the upcoming game week.
Okay.
So very quickly, winner. So we'll just go winners, no scoreline. The first game for the weekend is Aston Villa Newcastle.
Oh, that's a tough one.
It's a tough one, actually.
I think
And this
I'll
is at
go,
Villa's home.
yeah. I think I'll go with. Part of me wants to see an Aston Villa win because Newcastle they've been on a hot run. Same thing with me and Aston Villa, but I'll go for a draw.
A draw? Okay, Sean.
Yeah. Score draw.
I think Newcastle is going to win this. I want to believe they will win it.
I say a Villa win.
Okay.
I should go with a draw. I'm inclined to say a draw, but I'll say a Villa win because of my respect for Unai Emery. Chelsea Brighton. I'm off the bat. I'm going to go Brighton. That's an easy one for me.
Non-stop L for Chelsea. Non-stop.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah, and they just got battered again
Yep.
by Madrid. So
Yep. Cucurella.
Yep. Everton,
Cucurella.
Fulham.
I say a draw.
Everton
Chike.
Fulham at Goodison Park. I think I'll go with a draw as well.
I'll go with the Fulham win. I need Everton to get relegated because of what they did to Arsenal. So
Ordinary 3 points.
I am that petty, and I'm petty like that. Southampton Palace.
Palace.
Oof.
I'll go
A
Palace.
draw. I go draw.
Okay. Sean, you say draw?
Yep.
I'll go with Palace. I believe that Roy Hodgson and those, all those boys will do something good. Yeah, Palace. All right, Spurs, Bournemouth. Tottenham is such a useless club. I'm sorry.
Bournemouth's going to win this game.
Ooh.
Is it Bournemouth?
Yes.
Interesting. I think I'll stick with Spurs. They're at home. They're fresh. They haven't played in a week. I don't think they have any excuse to not win this. I'll stick with Spurs.
I will go ahead and say because they have Harry Kane. You can't bet against him. You shouldn't. I mean, you can, but you shouldn't. So, I'll give it to Spurs. Wolves, Brentford.
Brentford.
Okay, Chike.
I think I'll go with the Wolves win.
Huh.
I think I'll go with the Wolves win.
I'll split the difference and I'll say a draw.
Okay.
City, Leicester.
And we'll just move on. Let's move on. There's no point.
They have new manager bounce, so they just
exactly.
See, let me tell you something. The way City is playing right now, those guys.
Anybody can get it.
I'm happy that we already played them. I'm really happy that we played
them.
Anybody
and we had to cheat. We had to cheat to get that win. We had to cheat to get that win.
Arsenal,
don't let them be that part.
No, me, no. You know my position on that.
More.
No, West Ham, they're playing on Thursday. That's
that's true.
So I think they're going to Arsenal win.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but
right.
let me just ask a question. So whether or not they were playing on Thursday, I mean, were you going to expect a different outcome?
No,
yes.
Yes.
I wouldn't say, but at least I'll have thought about it for let's say 5 seconds. But since they're playing, it just takes me 1 second to think about.
Why would you have thought about? It's West Ham we're talking about. It's Arsenal we're talking about.
Obina, before you keep arguing, when you play on Thursday, trust me, there's no way you play well on weekends.
No, I get
especially when you don't have a good team or you are struggling.
See, that's what you just started with. They don't have a good enough team to play against Arsenal. So whether or not they play Thursday, it will make a difference.
No problem. Arsenal. Let's just move on.
United, Nottingham for me.
That's at Old Trafford, right?
No,
away.
Sorry, it's away. Nottingham
United.
Away. I mean, it's away, exactly.
Oh, that makes it easier for us. So United win.
Yeah.
That's our ground now. That's where Solskjaer scored 4 goals in 13 minutes. Now, what are you saying?
Okay.
That's our second home now. How about?
Okay, I like the confidence. Then Leeds, Liverpool, at Elland Road.
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one. Yeah.
Liverpool are really useless right now. Really useless.
I'll give it to Liverpool.
Yeah, but I think I'll stick with Liverpool as well.
Yeah, Liverpool might just win it. Might. So I'll just stick with them. Honestly, I will have picked draw, but
given the way they played against Arsenal, it might just give them extra bounce, moving forward. So
Yeah, and Leeds, they are very, very horrible.
yeah,
Very horrible at the back.
They concede a lot.
Yeah, so Liverpool.
Yeah. So that's the show. Once again, Chike, thank you very much. Seun,
appreciate it.
I know you are praying for City to do it for you so you can laugh, but the God I serve.
So when you have Man City winning the league, right?
Yes.
Chike, who do you have winning the league really quickly?
So see, if I was to bet my hard-earned money,
Yeah.
as much as I'm going to brush my teeth after saying this, I think I'll put my money on Arsenal.
That's my
I just
guy.
feel like wins, like the win over Bournemouth and the win over Aston Villa. Those are things, Seun. I mean, we've won. We don't win this league tire now. We've won the
Yep.
league.
We
we know signs when people are about to win leagues. We know the signs, and that win against Bournemouth, that win against Aston Villa. Those are things that you play in your highlight reel.
That Bournemouth one, I was so angry. I was
that's stuff of champions. So as much as I wouldn't want you guys to win it. If I had to bet my own hard-earned money, I think I'll go with Arsenal. I think they'll find a way.
Yep. Same here. But I want City to win it.
All right, let's leave it at that. Let's all do the gentleman's handshake.
I'm not doing experience or whatever. I don't care. City must win it.
All right, my guys.
Now the banter will be sweeter if City wins it.
Yes, now.
All right, guys. Thank you all very much, and to our listeners, keep listening, keep sharing, and we will see you next week. Abi no be so?
Yeah, next week we'll see. Hopefully, family will not call.
Family. There's enough time for family and still for leisure. So
okay.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Bye.
Right. Yeah.
Cheers, guys.